Hey there, toy collector friends and fans of physical media alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector. And as you'll have seen in this video, we're talking about the final chapter of Heartstopper. When I say the final chapter, is it? You have to wonder. I'm dressed appropriately. I'm wearing my Truman Pride Club hat in anticipation of maybe seeing Charlie Spring as head boy implementing some of what he wanted at the end of the last chapter, the last graphic novel book. So that shouldn't be a spoiler for anybody. And if you're watching this, probably it isn't a spoiler because you probably have already read it. And more importantly, you've probably already read this, which actually arrived with me a couple of days ago. We have Heartstopper Volume 6, which is the officially designated as the final chapter of the Heartstopper saga. Now, whether or not it actually will be, I wonder, because it is one of those sort of almost timeless stories that I could see us revisiting. We know that the Netflix film is coming out, I think just in a couple of weeks, in the middle of July 2026. And that should be encapsulating much of this, as well as, I think, elements of the Nick and Charlie novello, which I don't have a physical copy of, but I did download it on Audible and listen to that. It's quite good, and it's presented quite well because it has two different voice actors reading Nick and Charlie's various perspectives in the story. But yeah, Volume 6 has arrived, and it's quite meaty. It's quite meaty. And I'm going to say this, and this might get me some stick, so apologies, but go with the message rather than some of the factors. And I think I was expecting a bit more of a furore about the launch of this. And it's, again, beautiful, really beautiful. There's some lovely artwork on the side. Obviously, the whole thing is artwork because it is a graphic novel. I'm not going to sort of spoil it for anybody. So if you think you're going to get lots of spoilers, you're not. But it is beautiful. Alice Oseman has produced another wonderful entry into the Heartstopper universe, particularly the Nick and Charlie story. And I think the way this book ends and leaves us is sufficiently open-ended, and I'm hoping that isn't a spoiler in and of itself. That maybe somewhere down the line, if Alice ever felt so inclined, they could give us an adult story. I mean, I know we've been teased some of their future, so through the sort of webtoon stuff, if you've been following that, and it would be nice. Now, what we don't know at the time of recording this is whether any of this will not manifest in the movie. I guess we're all kind of hoping that the movie will see us get a decent resolution to all of the key character stories. But I guess there's an overarching message, isn't there, of life goes on. Life goes on, no matter what happens. For the world, up until the point where it doesn't, life goes on. And that's why I think, however this particular chapter of the various character stories resolves itself, and if you've already read it, please don't spoil it in the comments for people who haven't read it and who may be waiting for the film to come out, etc. But I think there's enough scope for a revisitation somewhere down the line, and I really hope that is the case, because I think their story is a really good one, and I hope maybe Netflix or whoever might pick it up and give us another movie, in 3 or 4 or 5 years' time. And even if they don't, we can always have something like this. Which I think would be really, really great, because I think Alice created a fantastic universe of characters overall, and I think that the Netflix series, in a not that common turn of events, actually managed to produce a TV adaptation that was, and of course Alice was involved in it from the get-go, so that helps, that responded to it being a different media. So obviously there have to be certain changes, and there have to be certain considerations for character tweaks and for plot points, etc. So I get all of that, as I'm sure most of you do as well. So So they're not, obviously it's not identical. It's very hard to do a complete identical and make it a success because it is a different media. But I think they do the best possible job. I don't know what they could do differently to make it better than what they produced. And I'm hoping that the movie, when it comes out, will do us and do the characters in this volume, this very hefty volume, justice. So we will take. I'm going to just pop it down for a second, but we will take a quick look at it. Apologies for my mouth there, not extreme close up. That was shocking. But I just wanted to say before I spin around and have a look at it, is there anything particular that you would like the movie to address? Because of course, it may well be that our televisual Nick and Charlie. So well, I don't want to put anything out into the universe that then might manifest. But Kit and Joe might be of the view that they don't want to return to these characters because they might want to sort of do a Daniel Radcliffe and put a break in and move on. But equally they might. You never know. You never know what happens down the road. But I just think there's so much to explore in the universe, and it would be nice to see their adult selves. And I do wonder if there is that sort of predetermined decision to wrap things up proper in the movie, whether we might see a bit of a flash forward just to really lock in cinematically what their future holds. I don't know, obviously. And maybe it would be better to leave it open-ended because, you know, life goes on. And every day, every page is a new page. And we get a chance to write on it. Sometimes we have a freer hand to write what we want, and other times less so. But let's stay optimistic, shall we? I'm going to turn it around just so we can take a look at it against the other books in the series, the direct Heartstopper series, and have a little look at the interior without spoiling it. Hopefully, if you are an avid fan, you're probably following it on, or have been following it on the Webtoons releases that Alice has been putting out. So there won't be anything too shocking there. Otherwise, be mindful that there may be, just through flicking through it, you may pick up on words or images that may be spoilerific. I will try to minimise that by not lingering particularly, but I can't guarantee anything. So just, that's a warning. So don't come at me in the comments saying, oh, you spoiled this. I didn't intentionally spoil it, but I will try, and I'm trying to not with some rapid fire flicking, but on your own head be it. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what would you like? How would you like the movie to wrap up? Do you want it left open-ended with the road ahead left uncharted, or would you like us to get a proper book-ended ending that gives us a bit of a glimpse into the futures of all of our characters? Let me know in the comments. Whilst you're doing that, if you could also drop a little like to the video, that would be absolutely amazing. And also, of course, a completely free subscription. It helps me get to my next subscriber milestone, which is, for me, huge, because, you know, I set myself 3 a year just so that I can keep my motivation going and see that there are new people coming to the channel and sticking with the channel. So it means an absolute world to me. And if you are someone that's new to the channel, hello, please do subscribe. And then if you do subscribe, let me know in the comments and I'll come and thank you personally, because I know people say it and I say it, but it legitimately and genuinely means the world to me if you do it. That's not just YouTube hyperbole. I do mean it. Anyway, I'm going to flip around now. If you can like and subscribe, brilliant. Otherwise, stick around. I'm going to swap around. We can look at the physical media in its physical media goodness. And here we have Heartstopper Volume 6, up close and personal, along with Heartstopper's chapter 1 through to 6. I know they're not chapters, they're volumes, but yeah, you know what I mean. And of course, as we first met them, as they first met each other, it's Nick and Charlie at their little desk, having a lovely time together. So yeah, this is a beautiful, the artwork is lovely. I mean, it does sort of kind of bode well, I hope, for the characters. That's what I'm going to say. I love how it's pulled out. We've got some nice shiny lettering on the front, and the leaves are lovely as well. Lovely leaves. Heartstopper Volume 6 on the side. We've got the Heartstopper leaves and a lovely little picture of Nick there. On the back, we can see Lever's Ball. Hi, I love you forever from Charlie. The lovely images of the photo taken of the gang. That's the comic universe gang rather than the televised gang. And yeah, it is a global #1 sensation, and I think it has changed more than 10 million people forever across the globe, for all the right reasons. This is what it looks like stacked up with the other books. If you don't yet have them, they are readily available. I dare say now we've had the 6th one, they'll probably look to release some kind of slipcase cover for all 6 of them, and you can get them for an astonishing price. But if you don't want to, you can pick them up individually. As I say, I'm going to flick through this now, so watch out if you don't want to see anything that might be spoilerific. As I say, I'm going to try not to show you anything spoilerific, but it is universally the wonderful artwork that we are accustomed to seeing from Alice. We are seeing an awful lot of Nick and Charlie, as you might be unsurprised to see. Bit of band action, a bit of Nick and Charlie action. We've got, oh, and there's the Pride Club, which I'm wearing the hat to celebrate. I mean, it's going to be a bumpy ride. We know it's going to be a bumpy ride because it's Nick and Charlie. When is Nick and Charlie's life not a bit of a bumpy ride? But you know what? As I said earlier, life is a bumpy ride, isn't it? It can be a bumpy ride. And I think a criticism that was levelled both at the Heartstopper TV series and maybe at the graphic novels as well, which I think is unfortunate and a little unfair, is that it sort of paints a picture of a slightly utopian scenario. And you know what? What's wrong with that? Why not paint the picture of the world you want to live in? I know it's not entirely the world we live in, but the world changes, and the world changes because people change it, and the more people who feel seen. So if people are feeling seen because of these books and because of the TV series, if people are feeling empowered and emboldened to be there, I don't know if I even like this expression, but I'm going to use it, their authentic self, and Nick and Charlie and others within the series have helped them find that within themselves. You know what? How is that not a good thing? How is it not a good thing that people feel good about themselves, comfortable in themselves, can address their issues with themselves in a loving and supportive environment, which really is what the world should be, and go out and be who they are and who they should be? Why on earth would that not be something that we would want for all the people in our lives that we love, and all the people that are out there in the world who maybe we don't know, but we are tangentially related to or have relationships with, whether at work, whether they're work friends, whether they're friends of our family members, or they're the extended friends of our friends, or they're the friend, or they're the family of our friends. It doesn't matter. Why cannot we not just have a wonderful world where everyone is entitled to have the opportunity to love the people they love, not doing anyone any harm, not breaking any laws, but then by the same token making sure that the laws that are in place are, reasonable to allow people to have their, natural sort of human rights. I'm not trying to get political because I'm not going to be political. I'm just saying, I hope everyone finds I hope every Nick finds their Charlie, and I hope every Charlie finds their Nick, whether it's male and male, male and female, female and female, whatever it might be, far beyond my levels of expertise. As long as people are loving and happy and respectful, and everyone else is happy and respectful to them being happy and respectful, why can't the world function with that? Because if you're loving and respectful, and everyone in your sphere is loving and respectful, what a wonderful world. Imagine that wonderful world. And then imagine why people would want to come along and say, you're painting a picture of a world that doesn't exist. Well, yes, maybe, but let's paint that picture. Let's paint it. Let's paint that picture. Let's make that picture a reality, folks, because I feel my life would be enriched if I knew that everyone around me felt safe, felt loved, and felt able to be who they are without fear of any kind of retribution or having their life opportunities diminished. Crazy. Why would that be the case? As long as no one is hurting anyone without consent, or they're not doing anything illegal, then let's have the world that Alice paints, because I think the generations coming up, there's been a lot of fighting for people to have their freedoms and their rights, and this is across. This isn't just LGBTQ plus a position. This can be a racial position, a religious position. Everyone has a place on this planet. So how about, to coin a very old phrase, we live and let live, without the suffering and the bullying and the unnecessary jibing. I know I'm trying to be a bit of an idealist here, but it doesn't have to be difficult. Change can be difficult, and change can be hard and unsettling, but if things don't change, they either stay the same or they get worse. And getting worse is change too, folks. So how about, instead of changing for the worse, if we're going to change, why not change for the better? Makes perfect sense to me. Anyway, this is not supposed to be any form of political platform. It's merely my way of saying that I think this literature set has made a positive contribution to a lot of young people, to a lot of young adults, also to a lot of older adults as well, that I'm aware of, who wish there was this sort of visibility, representation, whatever you want to call it, in media when they were growing up. And so whilst we can lament the fact that that wasn't there, we can celebrate the fact that it is now, both in terms of this sort of storytelling. We know that there are other forms of storytelling quite genuinely making it and breaking big into global media. So, maybe the world will change for the better. We can only hope. Have you picked this up? Have you read it? Did you enjoy it? Do you feel that it gives Nick and Charlie the send-off they deserve? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Again, if you can avoid spoilers, that would be wonderful. And spoiler, you can avoid spoilers, you just don't write them. Because again, people may not have read this yet, or they may have picked it up and they're not going to read it until after they've watched the movie. So be respectful of that, please. And again, you can give your thoughts and views, but if we can avoid direct spoilers, that would be tremendous. Folks, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for standing by whilst I've gone on about the beauty of Heartstopper and the Heartstopper story and the Heartstopper universe. And a big thanks to Alice Oseman for bringing this to the world and really positively affecting so many people out there. And just on a personal note, I've loved it. I've loved the series. And I've loved but then I'm going to be soppy for a second. I kind of love. So where love is prevalent and it wins out, that gives me a warm, gushy feeling on the inside. And so I'm here for stuff like this. I am. And of course, I'm a big fan of physical media. So I'm delighted to have this now in my collection. I don't know if we'll ever get Heartstopper in physical media, but we can but hope. Folks, thank you so much for standing by, watching, listening, commenting, liking, subscribing. Did I mention liking and subscribing? And of course, supporting the Heartstopper universe. I look forward to watching the movie alongside the rest of you when it comes out. And if you're watching this after the movie's come out, let me know if you enjoyed it and if it lived up to your expectations. I've been the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector who also collects physical media. And it just remains for me to say that I really hope to see you in a future video, and to remember that things of beauty really are toy line adjacent. Forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.